What's up, guys? Jin here, and this is going to be my podcast channel where you got games and just me talking about whatever. I got a bunch of topics that I will be going through each week. We got just maybe stuff about my life going on right now. We got UFC talk, anime, gaming, sneakers, movies, TV shows, statues and figures, and then maybe even a couple of random things, and also things that you guys talk about as well. So this was originally a format that was mostly done in my another podcast I was in, but we just haven't been doing it. So I'm gonna just do it on my own, take things in my own direction. There'll also be like other stuff that I do as well, like little games and things like that. Not video games. Video games will be on the side, but there will be like little games I make up that you guys can also play as well, and you might even see one in this video as well. So we're gonna go ahead and talk about it. So not much I'm gonna talk about with life right now, but I am gonna talk about tech, and I got a lot of tech. If you've seen any of my videos before on any of my previous channels, which I do have, I'm gonna have a lot of channels coming up. This channel, I also, before I get into the tech, I just wanted to just start putting content out there. This way it'll be much faster. I'm gonna try to make these not as edit intensive. I'm gonna try to make these as simple as I can, so that way it's just something I can release weekly, because I want to release these weekly, and they'll be, I don't know how long they'll be. I'll try to go for like a good hour, if not longer on some of them, and then they'll be uploaded. I gotta find a day where I'm gonna upload them. Right now it's gonna be whenever I can. I still got other videos I'm working on editing for my other channels, which we'll talk about that stuff later. But to get into the tech, oh, and if you've seen it in my videos previously, you'll see that the lighting was not as cool. It was just boring and bland as hell, not professional looking at all. And oh my god, oops, okay, I have to make sure I still recording. The colors on this DJI stand right here, that I got this tripod stand that I got the camera on right now, oh my god, it looks incredible. I'm gonna take a picture of that. Matter of fact, I'm gonna do that right now. But I got a lot of different tech that I'm gonna go over with you guys. So the lights, as you can see right there, that's the only one in frame right now. That is the Ngovi light, and I have one right there, one right here, two right there, and also there is another one. I don't have it on right now. I'm gonna actually just leave it off, and I even got like a little flamingo light right there, and I do have another light which I think I'm gonna aim towards that wall so that way you guys can see it. So just give me 1 second. Yeah. Alright, yeah, that's looking pretty sick. So we got a bunch of lights in here that I've added, and like once I found out about Govi, I just like started buying them like back to back to back to back. Before I didn't buy any lights. The lights I was looking into was a lot more expensive, and yeah, just not as user friendly it seemed like. And these are all smart RGB lights that you could just, control with your phone. And one even had, the one that's right here, this lamp I have right here, has a remote with it. That's the only one with the remote. But Govee is freaking incredible. I actually won a contest. I was just in this latest contest that I lost. That they had the one that I won. It was a video contest. There was multiple winners. I was one of the winners for style. Yeah, that's right, neon icon baby. I was one of the winners for styles, and it was for videos. The other one was picture. I know I could have won, but I just had the picture too far back where the guy who won, his shot was a really nice shot. It was up close. You got to see everything a lot crispier than the one I had it. But I could have had some sweet products for free. Super disappointed, but hey, it is what it is. Now I know, next time I'm coming for the W. And the good takeaway of this, I was gonna leave the year on a W with winning the first contest. I'll show you what I won. It's not these exact ones. I won these, but I gave it to the family, so it's out there in the living room right now. Since I don't need those anymore, even though I still will use it if I actually probably will buy another one down the road. But there were some other products that were super dope, and I wish I could have won, but we'll get there anyways. I'm gonna get those products anyways. I already planned on getting them. I was just gonna, why not try it for free? But what I was saying was, I was gonna leave on a W. I was thinking, like, you know what? I'm not even gonna do this contest. I'm gonna just let whoever else, enter it, win it. And then I looked at the pictures. I'm like, you know what? I probably might have a good shot at winning this. So why not? Who cares if I lose? It's just a picture. You're not doing much work, right? And I made it to the finals. So there was a knockout elimination rounds where the community voted on their posts on who they thought had the better picture / setup, and I made it to the finals, so which was like crazy. So lesson: don't rob yourself of an opportunity just because you think you might not win or you might not get that that shot when you don't know how far you would actually you might actually make it. I made it to second place easily. Could have gotten first place. I think it was just a shot. So kudos to I forgot his name. You might see a picture or not. But I followed that person even before I even seen the contest, so that was cool. But we have other products besides all these Govee products. I'll even post these down in the description as well. And you'll see, like, I'll probably show like my setup. Well, I will definitely show my setup so that way you guys can see it. You're probably looking at it right now, and you can see the lights that I use. You'll be able to see every light that I'm using right now besides the one that's wrapped around my desk. Other products, the camera I'm using right now is the Elgato face cam. Incredible camera. I'm gonna get like at least like 2 more, because apparently you can use like multiple, and then that way I can have different angles. It's mainly for my one of my gaming channels that I'm gonna have, where I can have different angles, but I'll use it for other stuff as well. Pretty affordable, like crispy quality 1080p HD camera. Let me move this camera a little bit down there so that way I can kind of have my eyes a little bit closer to the frame here, just in case. But the camera is amazing. I definitely recommend it. It is, at least as far as most of the reviews I've seen, definitely the #1 webcam on the market right now. I don't know how many streamers or whatever are using it, but because a lot of people have been using the Logitech. Even I have, but I gave mine to my homie because I wasn't using it at the time, and definitely don't need it now. Never going back. Elgato face cam all day. Other products: Elgato Stream Deck, finally got that. Took forever for me to get one of those, and man, do I love it. I originally bought the extra large one, but I think somebody at either Amazon or UPS stole it. Then I spent my money on. I think I bought more Govee lights, and maybe something else with that. And then I eventually, maybe like a couple months later, I bought just a normal Stream Deck, and I'll get the extra large one once I finish building my PC. So, still works out. This is fine for now. Plus, I get to get used to it without being overwhelmed with all the extra buttons. Next product that I want to talk about would be the Loop Deck. Very similar product, but the difference is it's more for productivity as far as like video editing and Photoshop. I use it for like my Adobe Suite programs that I use. So right now I've been using it for Premiere Pro and also After Effects. Very beginning stages of usage. I haven't even mapped everything out. I kind of just left it as is for the most part, since it's already set up. So once you I think it already has Adobe Photoshop and all of those integrated in it, so I didn't even have to do anything besides open up the program, and then it assigned everything to it. Of course, in the future I'm gonna definitely like figure it out more and configure some button layouts that I want. I did a very small amount of that, but I'm gonna do more because originally I was gonna use the Stream Deck for that, but it's the Stream Deck as far as like mapping everything from like your Adobe programs is like seems pretty complicated after all the research I did. So I'm glad I got the Loop Deck. At the beginning I did hear some reviews, people saying that it's not all that great or whatever, but I'm glad I didn't listen to them. I picked this up and I love it. So definitely recommend it. And even this isn't like a full review or anything like that, but I can recommend it if you want to spend the money on it, because it is pretty expensive, like $500, if not $600. This or the Tascam is $600, which I'm going to talk about next, but they're both up there. They do have a alternative option where it doesn't have as many knobs and buttons and things like that, but I had to go with this one. I just want more tactile and physical things to do instead of everything being digital. So I kind of veered away from the completely digital vibe and went more tactical. So if I'm physical, you know what I mean. And I love it. That's also another reason why I got the Tascam, which is the next product. The Tascam Mix Cast 4. I'm not using it right now because I have to still set up the I guess my account and everything like that to be able to use the editing software, because I do want to use the editing software that it comes with, just to get a feel for that. And I did put memory in there, so that should be good. But I'm gonna buy another one because I think I borrowed the memory from something else, which had more than enough gigabytes. But the Tascam, like I messed around with it, it's super cool. Got the sound effects and everything. I could podcast up to like 4 people. No, I think more than 4 people, because you got the 4 options, then you got the cell phone options, which is crazy. And yeah, it's just super cool. I got a lot of work to do to start playing around with that. The next product I just looked up just a second is this Shure microphone right here. I got it off screen. I'm gonna bring it down just for a second. There we go. So I got that, and I have it's on the blue microphone mic arm. Ooh, this motion sensor. The camera kind of like, I don't know, sometimes it freezes a little bit. Right, like right there, it just did. But the Shure microphone, man, it is, I like it a lot better. Like, things just work out for reasons. I don't know. I had a Rode mic before and a Rode mic arm. I had it before, but when I moved, I guess lost it or whatever. So I just didn't have a mic for a minute, like 2-3 years. Then I reviewed some microphones and then found this one. This one is way better. For whatever reason, it's way better. I don't even know why, but it sounds a lot clearer. So, the other one, I think it was like I forgot the word, but it wasn't the mic that I should have been using. Like a USB type mic, I shouldn't have been using that for what I was trying to do. Was just talk on it like this. It was meant for a different type of environment, I believe. So definitely do your research and don't sweat it if something happens to whatever you have, because you probably find something better down the road. The mic arm I got, the blue mic arm, took me a while to get this mic arm because I was thinking about, for the longest I wanted the Elgato low profile mic arm, just because I wanted it to be down low, and that thing was always out of stock, super hard to get. And then by the time I could get it, it would have been like a 2-month wait. So I was like, you know what, screw it, I'm gonna just get the blue mic arm and see how that works out, and love it. The low profile definitely would not have worked out in my setup. I have way too many things on a lower level to where it would have just interfered with it completely, no matter where I would have placed it. So I definitely needed something higher up, and I could still get it off screen, still get my voice heard, everything. So again, things just work out for a reason, and it's working out well. So I'm glad I got that mic arm. I haven't had any issues with it. It works great. I like it better than the previous mic arm I had before. Again, the Rode one that got lost and everything. Doesn't look cheap at all. Looks great. Another product. So let's see. I went over Shure mic, Tascam, Stream Deck, Loop Deck. Oh, Logitech headphones. These I got because before I had the PlayStation. Oh yeah, the headphone stand too. I'll talk about that too. Before, I've been using just the PlayStation 4 headphones. I forgot what they're called, but they're like the Pulse, or they were the version right before the Pulses. I had those for a while, but they start peeling, getting super old. So then, man, Logitech killing it with these, man. I'm gonna actually buy me some more colors because this looks great. This is the lilac color. I actually bought different headband too. I bought another matching color. It's like blue, pinks, and purples, and red. I think for some shots I wanted to get a different contrast, so I threw this one back on, and they both look great. I love this lilac, and I set up, especially this one right here. And these headphones are really nice too. Yeah, it's a light right there, as you can see. Very good sound quality. It has a mic as well. I placed these on this headphone stand. I don't got it plugged in or anything right now, just because ever since I got a bunch of new stuff, I haven't really had to plug it in yet. So I just got it unplugged. But the tilted It has RGB. Let me bring it back out, and you'll see video as well. It has an RGB lighting up around there, which is pretty dope. It has 2 USB ports, so you can plug something else in. One USB port is obviously for to light this up itself, and then the other one you can charge whatever you're trying to use it for. You'd be pretty good with that. What else? The lights in the back with the stars. That is the Bliss light. Yeah, the Bliss light skylight. It's a simple version that has like 3 different modes. One where you can see the nebula, one where you can see the star and the nebula. Then they have just one with the stars. So got this pretty quick. Didn't do too much research as far as like which one was which, but it's still dope. Definitely will look into getting a more advanced one in the future, and I definitely recommend it if you want to just spice up your setup a little bit. And as far as tech, last thing I'll talk about is my PC. So I'm building PC. Finally. Right now, this is all done through my Mac Mini M1. I'm going to be building my first PC. Pretty scary. Very expensive. This one is going to be, I think it's going to be like in a $3,000 range without any aesthetic upgrades. Aesthetic upgrades would be just like a V1 graphic card, plates, things like that, just to spice it up a little bit. But I have RAM so far, and I have a CPU cooler. The Landly CPU cooler, and I have, thanks to my cousin-in-law, I have a motherboard, which I think I might use. I'm not sure. I need a lot of research needs to go into this, because I want to make sure this is pretty powerful, and I want to make sure the motherboard can support everything that I want to do. So I just found out, because at first I immediately threw it off, because once I bought the RAM, I took the RAM out, tried to fit in there, it wouldn't fit. I'm like, yo, you need more. There's certain motherboards hold certain RAM types as far as like the physical types. I'm like, dang, man, there's different size RAMs now. So I had to, I gave up. I threw some $300-400 motherboards up in my cart, researched those a little bit, and just recently I ran across this video talking about, actually I was looking up the RAM that I bought, so that way I can see you know what how they were putting it on the motherboard and everything, and which kind of motherboards they had. And there's little knobs on the motherboards where you click and then they move out the way, then you can put the RAM on there. So I didn't know that. All the videos that I've seen, I never seen nobody move the thing on there. It just looked like they just pressed it down without pushing the little things out the way, the little notches. So I might just keep the motherboard. More research needs to be done, but this PC is gonna be pretty dope, and I'm gonna try to make sure it's dope as hell. I'm gonna have to do a lot of research to make sure everything is cool. For the most part, I'm just taking stuff from Tech Tesseract's build for the most part, because I think that's how I found out about this case. When I seen that case, that Mecha case, I was like, oh my god, I gotta get that. So took a while, but I finally got that. I could have been had it but I wanted to buy other stuff. So then I finally bought it, and then that's when I like once I knew I was gonna buy the case, that's when I knew I was gonna start buying parts. So the PC parts are pretty much the only thing that I'm focused on right now, and the main thing I'm worried about, and it's like super difficult to get because of the price, really, is the RTX 380. Graphic cards are hella expensive right now. Mostly because of resale, but also there's also just some that are pretty up there in price. So looks like I'm probably gonna have to buy resale for one of these. These I don't mind buying resale for, just because of what they're capable of doing, and yeah, I'm gonna just do it. But for the PS5, you can miss me with that. I'm buying that retail. I could have easily bought that like 4 or 5 times over by this point, but I'm just focused on this stuff. I'll get the PS5 when it's just, I can just, oh, snap a PS5. Let me go ahead and get that. But I'm not gonna go out of my way to buy it, really. My PS4 Pro is still cool, man. It's still doing this thing. The Xbox, the Switch. Oops, got the hat touching that. Switch, everything is fine, but PlayStation 5 will be the next console that I get. But I'll probably be done building my gaming PC before I ever worry about PS5, especially with the graphics cards being that expensive. So if you have any, like, I don't know, tips or whatever, I watch. Well, besides a bunch of random people that I look up and check out their videos, like some of the main people. Now I'm having a brain fart on the names, but it's like some of the biggest people up in the community. Man, why the hell I'm Linus Tech Tips? You got damn. Now I'm just fumbling the ball, man. I'm acting like I've never been in the end zone before. Whatever. I follow some people, but if y'all have some good videos of whoever that's doing PC builds, then definitely like let me know. I'll check them out. There's still plenty of time for me to see more stuff before I buy stuff, because there's still a lot of stuff I gotta buy. I'll probably show like where I'm at right here, and I'll give you an idea of what I'm gonna buy. You'll probably see that on the screen as well. I only bought like 3 things, and I only got like 4. So I got the case, motherboard, RAM, CPU, cooler. So I only got 4 things, and there's still a bunch of stuff I still gotta buy. And I think that's pretty much it as far as the tech. There's one more thing. I'm gonna get an expensive monitor for the PC as well. Gotta go all out, ball out crazy. With the PC setup, I gotta figure out how I'm gonna do the setup too. But I'm thinking either between the Samsung Odyssey G9 49-inch big boy, or the Samsung Odyssey G5, or the Spectra 34-inch. Both 34 inches, 1000 R curvature, looks beautiful. One of those out of the 3, I'm getting one of those for the gaming PC. And that about wraps it up for the tech. That's all I'm gonna talk about for the tech for now. We'll talk about more about that next week. Now, UFC talk. Fighting. Freaking Jake Paul knocked Tyron Woodley out. That shit was crazy. Man, dude, one hitter quitter. Just caught him Bam! Very reminiscent of Kamaru Usman and Masvidal. Fuck, man, my favorite UFC fighter. Conor and Masvidal, my favorite UFC fighters. Dog, that Tyron punch was fucking crazy. Can't even remember who I was thinking winning. I think Tyron might have been winning, but man, he got freaking caught. Jake caught him, dude. That just, thank God it didn't go to distance. Just because if Jake would have won going to distance, it just wouldn't have been all that hype. You know, now this just adds to the hype for his next fight, which more than likely is probably gonna be Tommy. Oh my God, I have no idea. Before I was thinking like, man, I think I see a lot differently than pretty much everybody I heard of talk about Tommy fighting. But I feel like he's just a better boxer than Jake, from what I see. I don't know, but and only seen him fight that one time, the Anthony Taylor guy, when Jake fought Tyron Woodley the first time. But if he can't hang with that power, man, it's gonna be a wrap. I'm definitely interested to see what's going to happen between those two. That's going to be a fun fight. They should definitely make sure it happens. If Jake wins, just to freaking get him out of there. Hopefully it ends by knockout. He knocked out. Now he has the... Now he can say he's knocked out everybody he's fought, which is dope. And professionally. To think that this dude came from fighting Deji on a YouTube card to now knocking everybody out, fighting Tyron Woodley, man, that's crazy. Most of these guys, they don't, like the people in the industry, boxing industry, whatever, they have no idea about any of that. Like, dude, Jake got fucked up by Deji and made it past it. Now this dude's completely different. It's crazy. UFC Fighter of the Year, gonna have to give that to Kamaru Usman. He won 3 championship fights this year. Gilbert Burns, Masvidal, Covington 2, or Masvidal 2 as well. Man. And I really want to know how that Masvidal fight was going to go. Like, got him. The Masvidal, I mean the Usman and Covington 2. Covington, to me, like, even after the fight, like, I was like, oh shit. To me, Covington had won. But the only reason why I would say that he didn't and that he didn't was because of the knockdown. But other than that, I could see Covington, he took that. Obviously, it can go back and forth, especially if I rewatch it in slow motion. We never know. I don't know. But Usman, I'm gonna have to give him Fight of the Year. And to think, like before, man, he was just boring. Like, bro, like, oh my god, get this dude off of the screen. Now, ever since he switched to Trevor Woodman's camp, bro, he's been definitely entertaining to watch. His hands, he letting his hands go. He freaking dropped Gilbert Burns multiple times with the jab, and he almost got beat himself, man. It's crazy. So, kudos to Usman, freaking nightmare. Charles Oliveira, dude, is, man. The thing is, like, he can easily be beat in the first round. Both Michael Chandler and Dustin Poirier messed up. I don't get it. Like, they, especially Dustin, since he had to have seen the Michael Chandler fight, and he knows Charles regardless. He knocked his ass down. Let his ass stand back up. If he can't stand up, fight's over. So stand up, then continue to bang. He could not take the power. He was getting hurt bad with those shots from Dustin, man. All you have to do is stay calm and let him stand back up, do the same thing, or bro, it would have been a wrap. He wouldn't have made it past 2 rounds of, like, not actual rounds, but 2 rounds of taking those hands from Dustin. Same with Michael Chandler, man. He could have won that, man. That would have been incredible. But all things happen for a reason. We'll see where it goes from here. Charles Oliveira got it, man. He got the 2 W's for the year. We're gonna see. Probably gonna be Justin. If not, I don't know who else is gonna be. Probably gonna be Justin next. And Justin with Trevor Whitman, man, I think he's gonna win. I think he's gonna beat Charles Oliveira. Because I know he's not gonna be. He'll let your ass stand back up. I think he's done that with Michael Chandler. Like, bro, stand your ass back up. You about to get finished. So I definitely want to see that fight. There's talks about Charles Oliveira possibly open to letting Conor McGregor skip Justin Gaethje, which Gaethje's like, yo, I'm fucking throwing dollies everywhere if y'all have me get skipped by Conor. He says irrelevant Conor, which funny because Conor is the most relevant person in the UFC that there could ever be. Like, he's only irrelevant because he's still healing because his leg got broke, which don't let me get started on that. But he's still, like, easily can end up always in a conversation no matter what. Like, and he puts himself there too, and everybody just falls for it no matter what he say. Now he's in the conversation. Oh, I'm gonna be fighting for the title next. Like, bro, like, why y'all even, like, that's how powerful he is. He says I'm fighting for the title next with a broken leg, and then people like, oh my god, no, how can you let him fight for the title next, blah blah blah. Like, bro, y'all just falling for it, like, even reacting to it. Like, this man is a freaking genius, bro. Like, Conor is incredible, man. There's reasons why he's my favorite fighter along with Masvidal. This dude is, even like how Cody is and everything, like, he don't get the respect that he deserves, which is because of the whole heel angle he has. Which, when he was all nice and everything, everybody besides me and some of my homies were hating on him. Like, oh man, he's too nice, blah blah blah. Like, and they were only saying that just because he lost. Like, bro, like, the aura this man had when he was nice in that Dustin Poirier and in the Donald Cerrone fight was just, like, godly, man. Like, this dude, I seen his aura when he was like, God, that was some next level stuff right there. It was an experience to watch, man. You don't get to see too many of these guys' aura too often. There's only a small amount of times I've seen the aura of somebody. Conor, in that moment, it was a very when he fought Donald. Well, mostly when he fought Dustin in the rematch for at the beginning of the year, the first one, Conor Dustin 2. His aura was oozing. Everybody was just gathering towards him, and it was insane. And then so that was one. The other one that I can think of off the top of my head was Robbie Lawler when he was fighting Ben Askren. It was the exact opposite type of aura. It was this killer aura. I'm about to pause it real quick. So, like I was saying, the Robbie Lawler fight with Ben Askren, when he was walking out during his entrance, like, when I seen him, I just seen, like, full rage, dark red aura just surrounding him. Like, it's kind of hard to explain if you unless maybe if you watch, like, anime or something like that, where you've seen you know, like let's say like Dragon Ball Z or something like that, where they power up, or somebody's really angry, and you get to see their aura. That's what I seen from Robbie Lawler, but real life. And it's hard to find a clip of it. I've tried many times to find Robbie Lawler's walkout entrance. Oh snap! I gotta adjust this because your face is all up in the screen. I'll fix that real quick. All right, there you go. Um, but his aura was insane. I tried looking it up on YouTube, but I couldn't find it. The best thing I could find was some horrible quality, and it skipped like most of the parts where you would see him walking out and getting hyped up. But the strange thing is I haven't seen it since. I've made sure I watched his other fights to see how he would come out, but he hasn't had that same aura. Maybe he tried to tame it to or maybe he was battling some demons that day. I don't know, but it was crazy. I can't think of anybody else that at least off the top of my head where I've seen their aura. So maybe Izzy's, but that'd be kind of different. But as far as UFC, one thing I wanted to do was go over my 20 favorite fights in the last 5 years. Now, I did make this list, I believe, in the beginning of the year for a different podcast, but now I'm using the same list pretty much, slight variations just because favorite fights have changed. Just a few over the course of this year, so I'm gonna go over that with you guys, and definitely if you guys have your list, I would definitely love to know, so put it in the comments. So I gotta split up 10 normal fights and 10 championship fights. So I'm gonna go over the normal fights first, and then I'll go over the championship fights. And it's no particular order, it's just my favorite 10. And this is based on like hype, stakes, the outcome, and the story. I'm not gonna go into full detail on each and every person's, but wherever I decide to think up when I think of their fight, that's what I'll talk about. So the first one I have is Sugar Sean O'Malley versus Chris Montanino, if I'm pronouncing his name right. First time in the UFC for Chris versus Sugar. And Sugar, oh my god, this is Madison Square Garden. You got the Conor McGregor main event, and Sugar stole the show. This dude was doing basketball dribbles and everything, and just blasting Chris in the face over and over again, and he was just walking it down until it got stopped. That fight was, you don't see that fight very often, a fight like that very often. Only other fight like that you can see is maybe with like somebody like Max Holloway or something like that, which that fight's on the list too, so we're gonna get to that. But if you haven't seen that fight, or you don't know who Sugar Sean O'Malley is, I definitely recommend you look him up. And I'll say this as well. As far as like, it was just hype just to see Sugar fight again. I think that was the fight coming off of the controversial quote unquote loss from Chito Vera, and he showed that he still always was a savage, and just bruh, we know you gotta watch out for that dude. But the stakes, I guess there are stakes as far as like, oh my god, look at his leg or whatever, but he made that look like that was nothing. Outcome, just phenomenal. Stole the show, Madison Square Garden, especially because Conor broke his leg, so that kind of blew all the hype out of that fight. And the story just continues with Sean just dominating, pretty much. The second fight I got is Conor versus Nate 2, where Conor actually avenged his loss against Nate in the first one. It's just a rematch of a already hype fight. Both dudes talking hella shit and everything. and Connor ended up correcting his mistakes and coming out on top. And just, I mean, if you don't know about that one, then definitely recommend watching both fights. We might even still see a trilogy that's talked about later. We don't know, but that story continues. Outcome just made Connor more hyped. A lot of people start jumping on the Connor bandwagon after that. Nate gained more followers. Just the hype was on a whole different level at the time. Still one of the highest levels it can get. Masvidal versus Ben Askren is the next one. That fight, the quickest fight in UFC history. Masvidal with the flying knee. The hype for that fight, the hype was all on Ben Askren, really. Of course, Masvidal just came off of the knockout of Darren Till and the three-piece Minnesota to Leon Edwards. Then Ben Askren, second time in the UFC, he just beat Robbie Lawler, which I was just talking about, where he had all that. Or he just beat Robbie Lawler in a, some people say, yeah, it was just a controversial fight because he could have got stopped. Like, he was getting smashed. But he came back and choked dude out, which I think he lost. He choked him out, but, some people disagree. But anyways, yeah, there was a lot of hype on Ben Askren coming off of that fight. Ben undefeated and an extremely great wrestler. The stakes, I think the stakes were more so higher in hindsight than it was at the time, because the outcome of that just led to just Masvidal versus Nate, which that's a whole different thing. We'll talk about that later. But and that's where Ben Askren hit a nosedive down. So we'll get more into the story later as far as that one, because that involves another person. But the next fight I got is Yair versus the Korean Zombie. That fight was insane. I akin that fight to like the Raid, a fight in a Raid or the Raid 2 or something like that. It was just madness. And then the way it ended was the craziest thing. If anything you take from that fight, hype, stakes, story, none of that matters as much as the outcome. Because Yair was, I believe he was losing that fight. Then he got super friendly towards the end. I think looking at Yair versus Max, I think that was like kind of gamesmanship. He was lulling Korean Zombie in, and then he caught him with that incredible uppercut with his elbow. I don't even, he need to name that a move. That needs to be something named after him, because that was incredible. No, we'd never seen that before. It was well executed and everything. The next on the list is Ngannou versus Rosenstrike. That fight, this was when Ngannou, he came off his loss against Stipe, then Derek Lewis, and then he just started destroying everybody. And then this Rosenstrike guy came out of nowhere. Basically another gorilla, but just more bloated than Ngannou. Ngannou, it didn't matter. This dude just blew through him like a train in a, whatever you want to put in front of a train. He didn't stand a chance. The strikes is actually, it was pretty funny in the way he was striking, because it's just super meme worthy. He obliterated him, and the hype. The reason why that fight was hype was because Rosenstruck obliterated Alice Overeem's lip, completely like busted open his lip. Disgusting. Like, just look it up if you haven't seen it. It's I would put a warning up if you want to watch it or not, but definitely not for everybody. It was nasty. His lip was just gone. And he won that fight after losing the whole fight. So that fight was only based on the outcome. which led to this fight being hyped up more. Obviously, he was an up and comer, so the stakes was high against Ngannou. Like, which one of these guys is gonna proceed forward in their career? Ngannou just tossed him aside like it was nothing, just like everybody else he's done since. So, and we'll get to more Ngannou later. But the next one will be Ferguson versus Pettis, another insane fight. This is like one of those fights where it's like you have two of your favorite action movie stars starring in a movie together and going against each other. That's what this fight was for me, and it lived up to it. It was insane. Obviously, both fighters' careers went in different directions after that point, but that is a fight I'll never forget, man. It was bloody as we expected, insane moves as we expected, and you couldn't ask for nothing more. Besides another one, I guess. Next, we got Conor versus Cowboy Cerrone. This is when I was talking about the aura coming from Conor, where he came back from, I think this was his first fight ever since he fought Mayweather. So everybody was anticipating him. Obviously, he was a little bit nicer, really friendly to Cowboy. He went into the octagon, did this and everything. Incredible pose. That's at the level of Randy Orton's famous pose. And dude, I don't know if we've seen Cowboy get destroyed worse. I don't know. At least up until this point. Conor just straight up, he almost KO'd him quicker than Masvidal if he would have got the knee off, I think, or it was a punch. He tried to end him super quick, but he kind of missed. And then a couple exchanges happened. Cowboy getting messed up, and then they grappled. Cowboy got fucked up by Conor's shoulder with some shoulder thrusts. We ain't ever seen no shoulder thrusts that vicious. He like completely discombobulated Cowboy, and then he head kicked Cowboy, which is crazy because usually that's Cowboy's one who's head kicking people, putting them on highlights. And then he just finished him after that. It was crazy. Hype. That was just a hype fight, obviously, for Conor. Cowboy, he's a dope fighter that you want to see fight. The stakes, I guess if anything, it was on Conor if he would have lost. Outcome, of course, incredible. The story, not much of a story there. Besides, this was Conor's first fight coming back from the Mayweather fight. So I guess the story was very interesting as well. Next, we have Holland versus Sosa. So Kevin Holland versus Jacare. This fight, there's no hype on it. There's no stakes or anything. Not much of a story. Just the biggest thing was the outcome. To me, that's kind of what's making today's most of this less, at least in section. The outcome, again, this was something that I don't think we've ever seen. It definitely not like this. Jacare Souza on top of most of them. I think like in like and then he got on top of him and started bam, 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 and Jacare's body was like a dead body. Like it was like something that would only be in a movie or something. Literally, it was like something that was in like The Raid or John Wick or something. My man's was literally like this, just getting destroyed. Like it was one of the greatest knockouts I've seen. That was off the ground with Kevin Holland on his back, and that was an incredible year for Kevin Holland. I think that was 2020. What a crazy year for him, man. Then you got a fight that recently happened. This one actually changed. This one replaced another fight that I had before. Chandler versus Justin Gaethje. So Michael Chandler versus Justin Gaethje just happened. An incredible fight. Just they both wrestle, they both throw hands. Two gladiators just going back and forth. Just phenomenal performance by both. Hype and crazy hype, because you got Justin Gaethje who destroyed Tony Ferguson and just completely changed who Tony Ferguson is. Then you got Michael Chandler, who just unfortunately lost to Charles Oliveira, but still a great performance. He almost won, and he just came off of that knockout UFC debut that he had. The stakes were high because it was also going to help determine who was in line for a championship fight, more so for Justin than it was for Chandler, but still. The way that fight ended had better results than any other contender, basically. Outcome phenomenal. Story, just two gladiators trying to throw down, basically. For those two, you don't need much of a story to be interested in their fight. Then the last one for the normal list is Max Holloway versus Calvin Kattar. This one, no hype. Stakes, not really. Outcome, this is all outcome and not even really a story either. I guess if you want to put a story on there, it would be who's the best. That's the story for this one. Who's the best boxer in the UFC? That's the thing going on now. So Max Holloway did some Ultra Instinct stuff in this fight, which again you ain't never seen. This was some Muhammad Ali stuff. Like literally, there's poses that he did. Muhammad Ali did exact angles and everything. But he did better stuff too, because he was talking to DC and whoever else was out in the commentator desk, and he was just looking at them dodging Kattar's punches and then punching Kattar at the same time without looking like this. Bop, bop, bop. It was incredible. What a performance by Max. It was I think as far as like how cool it was, and not that it was a knockout or anything, I think he broke records too. Like how many punches he did it, like 700 punches. Like people get happy when they break like 200 punches in a whole fight. He did like 700. So like he's in a whole different league as far as that. But he like I said, he was Ultra Instinct. You can't describe it any other way other than Ultra Instinct. There's no fight that I put on this list where the only closest person you can say had Ultra Instinct would have been Sugar versus Chris, but his would have been more like Super Saiyan God or something like that with that performance versus Chris. But Max was an incredible fight. I definitely recommend all of these fights. I recommend, but this Max one, if you want to see somebody just get straight up embarrassed and outclassed, just take a look at that performance. It was nasty. Same with the Sugar one too, but Jesus. So Now, and honestly, like those some of these fights are better than these championship fights, but that's Max. Max is a former champion, um, controversial still, people's champion because some people think he won. I think he won both fights against Alexander, but after Alexander's fight, I give him respect, and he was. It was hard for me not to put that fight on the list. Um, his fight against Ortega, Alexander versus Ortega. It didn't make it, but it easily could. So now I'm gonna go into the championship fights. So in this, I got the any double champ fights at the top, and then it goes down to the normal ones, but it's still not in order. I just wanted to double champ and then normal champ. So, and there's not that many double champ fights, so take that as you will. But the first double champ fight I have is DC versus Stipe. DC was the light heavyweight champion, and he was fighting Stipe for the championship belt, for the world heavyweight championship belt. And obviously, it's always a different level of hype when you got champ on the line. So the stakes is super high because you're like, oh, is this person gonna get it? Are they gonna change the division? What's going on? So you got stakes, story, outcome. Everything matters with champ, especially depending on the person. DC goes in there and knocks Stipe out. Uppercut in the pocket. It's crazy. He obliterated him. Became double champ. It was crazy. And led to, whatever else happened afterwards, but that doesn't matter. It was this moment where it's like, that's history right there. So moving on from that one, the next double champ fight we got is the first ever double champ. Conor McGregor versus Eddie Alvarez. Yeah, that fight was crazy. Conor obviously putting on a performance of a lifetime. We got the hype super high. Like this is when, like after this point, Conor hype just went to a whole different atmosphere. You might even say freaking galaxy or whatever, because he's on a whole different level than everybody else. You got the stakes, obviously, because champ is on the line. He just came off the freaking one-punch knockout of Aldo, which already skyrocketed him. Then you got the outcome. He became double champ, so the outcome was changed history. That was the first time that was ever done. So that was the story as well. Like, what's next? What is Conor gonna do next? Like, this dude is crazy. It's changing history, left and right. Beating Aldo, he had the belt for years, and then just get starched. Man, it's Conor, man. Like, of course this was gonna be on there. Then you got the next and the last double champ fight, Amanda Nunes versus Cyborg. This is after, I'm saying this after Amanda just lost her belt against oh girl, I'm having a brain fart, sorry, but yeah, she lost her belt, so keep that in mind. But Amanda versus Chris Cyborg, oh my god, it's one of the greatest. Like, that's a fight if you're a UFC fan, you would want it. Like, that's a must-see fight. Where you got Amanda, like, nobody knew what was going to happen with Amanda. I mean, Cyborg. Like, can anybody beat her? Like, freaking unstoppable Terminator, like, Cyborg. Like, her name is Cyborg for a reason. Then you got Amanda. She already had a belt. starching people, but Cyborg was the real test for Amanda. It's like, can she do what she's been doing to everybody else to Cyborg? Cyborg hasn't done what Amanda has done to people, but she's still dominating people. But Amanda starched Cyborg, like made it look like she didn't even belong there. It was, that the hype for that fight was insane. Stakes obviously super high because you got just these two forces, and then you got double champ on the line. Then the outcome, Amanda made history, became the first woman's double champ, still the only double champ as well. Juliana Pena, that was her name. That's who beat Amanda, which to me that was all Amanda's fault. Amanda beat herself in that fight. But as far as right now, speaking on history, Amanda versus Cyborg. If we ever get two beings where it's like that exact story, I'm there. Gotta see that fight. Move this mic up a little bit. So, moving on from the champ fights, and now just the normal fights. We got 7 slots left. So, the first one in the championship fight, just a normal, we got Max Holloway versus Brian Ortega. Obviously, both of these dudes are my dudes, man. Like, obviously, you just heard me talking about Max versus Cater. This was before that. You got champion Max Holloway versus Brian Ortega. Brian Ortega, this was my first time ever even seeing Brian Ortega, but instantly became a fan of dude, even before the fight. The fight was insane. Mostly like Brian Ortega, man, that dude is a warrior. But Max Holloway, just a different level of warrior. This dude showed Ortega how to defend his punches while punching him. He put my man's hands up and was like, he took his hands and he showed him how to defend and punch, and then he there ain't too many people that you can't pull that off against another high level person. There's not many people that can do that. You got 2 high level people fighting for a championship, so that means they belong there. He did that to another contender. Right now, try to think of any division, any champion, and any contender. Could another champion do that to a contender? I don't think so. Only if it was like in a different martial art, like maybe like wrestling or something. But striking mid-fight, you can't. There ain't there. If there was somebody else that could do that, I would love to see it, because that is some once in a lifetime type of stuff. We probably never see it again, honestly. But the confidence you gotta have to even do that. And I didn't even see that during the fight. I seen that like after the fact. That got pointed out to me. Like, these dudes fighting like Dragon Ball Z, like you just like so blown away by what's going on. You used to seeing strikes and everything. You didn't even see that. So that was like caught in slow motion as far as me being aware of it. What a crazy fight. The outcome, obviously Max retained it, but they went to war. The next one, I got Cody Garbrandt versus Dominic Cruz. Oh man, this was my introduction to both of these fighters, basically. Got Cody. I watched the fight, but all I seen was like Cody just like on a whole different level than Dominic Cruz, just straight up out class him every way. It was I was blown away. I'm like, holy shit, this dude is amazing. Obviously, he has been on a terrible stint since then. Besides the Sunstyle fight, which I did have that fight up in there. I think matter of fact, I think the Justin Gaethje versus Michael Chandler replaced that fight of Cody, because that was a crazy knockout. But Cody versus Cruz, it was just an incredible fight. I guess the hype was there for the championship. That's when we got so that's the stakes, the hype. There was no hype for me because I didn't even know. I didn't know of either of them until I seen the fight. I think because I was just watching it for I think the main event. I forgot who it was. It might have been if I'm not mistaken, it might have been George St. Pierre. I think I'm about to try and look real quick versus Michael Bisping. So, Dominic Cruz versus Corey Garbrandt for UFC 207, December 30th, 2016. Let's type in. Bruce Bisping. Nope, that was a whole different year. I don't know. I'm gonna just type in UFC 207. Maybe that was the main event. I don't know. Find out, I guess. It was Amanda versus Ronda Rousey. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I was just watching that fight. I didn't know those two at the time. Wow, that was when Amanda. Oh my God, what a night! That was when Amanda beat Ronda Rousey. Oh my God, that fight could have easily made this list too. But I try to limit the people as much as possible so they don't get more slots than just the one. Besides, if it was championship and normal, I counted that. So my list could slightly change if I wanted to just have a person to have more than one slot taken up. But yeah, what a crazy fight for Cody. Then the next one, we got the championship fight, Izzy versus Whittaker. Oh man, the hype for this fight got bigger all the way till they were in the ring. Mainly because Izzy, like he brought something to the UFC that hasn't been done before. As far as like his entrance, it was an incredible, phenomenal walkout entrance where he started breakdancing with his crew and everything. Man, that's something I'll never forget. And then the performance he had against Robert Whittaker, right? He just pretty much starched Robert Whittaker too. Great counters. He almost got caught himself, but that's what happens when you're trying to go for counters. So blazes him, gets saved by the bell, and then catches him in the next round and finishes him off. The outcome was the best you can get. The stakes super high because you got this up and comer versus Robert Whittaker, and then the story is just their own stories. You know, it wasn't really too much of a story in and of itself. It's just their own stories basically. The next championship fight I got Rose Namajunas versus Wayne Zhang, the first one. So, which happened, I think, in the summer. Freaking Rose head kicks Wei Li, checks it out, ends it. First round, I don't even think they landed any other strikes. It was super unexpected because we was expecting it was super hype because you got Rose, who lost the belt Super. I forgot her name, but she got super rich. She made moves because she was getting destroyed. I like that this way. Put it that way. And then she fights. So Willie gets starched. So Willie got the better. Then Willie goes on this incredible fight, which could have easily been these two against Joanna, which that was a winner at first, lose controls. I switched into this this more recent fight controls again. So you got Rose, I mean you got Willie versus Joanna. That fight was incredible, and it lasted the distance. And then you also got Rose who starched Joanna twice, and then you're like, how is this fight gonna play out? So we had no idea. But little do we know, Trevor Whitman, freaking madman, genius, whatever. They starched Wei Lee. Everybody was freaking mind blown. Everybody went crazy. Completely destroyed the story because we was trying to figure out like what the hell's gonna happen. So the outcome was the biggest takeaway from this. Stakes obviously high. You got a title on the line. Hype, as I explained, couldn't get any bigger. Then you got the next fight, Masvidal versus Nate. The hype from this one just blew up. It just blew up over time into something that has never been done before in the UFC. Probably never will be done again. Masvidal, Nate, one of them calls out the other one, basically. I think it was, I don't even know who it was. They called each other out. They accepted. UFC, it's already like huge fan fight. No title on the line, nothing like that. UFC decides, you know what, this fight is so fucking big. We're gonna make a belt for it. Baddest motherfucking belt. BMF title is born. Then you got, oh, The Rock is in the picture now. He's interested. He loves both of these guys. He's gonna put the title on the winner. He is there during the face-off. Yo, what the fuck is this? What's going on here? This is becoming something magical here. And then boom. So the hype right there is just like, we ain't never seen nothing like it. Stakes super high. Who's gonna get this once in a lifetime belt? Like, this is stakes that you, can it get higher than this? Is this the same level as double champ? Like, this is like some crazy stuff here. It's harder to get than double champ because it doesn't need to be defended. So it's more elusive and exclusive than double champ. It's so exclusive and rare. People try and downplay it just because it's so impossible to get. So keep that in mind. And then the outcome, obviously, who the winner is going to get this belt, which ends up being Masvidal, who came off of a crazy run. He came off of the 5-second, really was 3-second KO against Ben Askren, which that was on here. Came off of that. I think Nate was like, yo, I gotta fight this dude. So they ended up fighting. Crazy fight. Amazing. And then Masvidal is just fucking putting it on Nate Diaz. Ends up getting a fight stop just because it was so savage with the cut. But obviously we already know, like, Nate is like, that dude's a machine. He gets better as it goes on, as we've seen with Nate versus Leon. Yo, Leon lost that fight, you know. But that was a crazy fight. The story, it was just East Coast versus West Coast, you know. Two badass dudes fighting to be the baddest. For a belt, I mean, more stories got created out of itself with that fight. now it became like a rivalry. So we might see a part two. The next championship fight, the second before last one, Demetrius Johnson versus Ray Cyborg. Now, obviously, Demetrius Johnson, Mighty Mouse, he never got the hype that he deserved, but there was definitely more hype based on the outcome of this fight rather than going into it. The stakes was on the line, obviously, because it's for his title. Demetrius comes out of nowhere with a suplex, transforms it mid-air into a flying armbar, and gets the submission victory. Again, this is something we ain't never seen before, might not ever see again, from one of the best pound for pound fighters in the UFC. It was incredible. Like they played this move back so many times. It was crazy. They put it in the game. So the outcome was like phenomenal. Obviously with some once in a lifetime type of stuff, they replay that a lot, like they did with the flying knee from Masvidal. Story, not much of a story besides somebody trying to get the belt. One person defending his legacy, which Mighty Mouse obviously. I guess this also the story is like, yo, what else can this dude do? Like, Jesus, like we haven't seen nothing like this. Like, what else are we gonna see? So that's the type of story you can take away from it. But last on the list, man, this is one of my happiest moments here. We got Ngannou versus Stipe. I'm gonna pause here because I might show my reaction. Alright, so the fight we had Stipe versus Ngannou the first time for the championship. Premature Ngannou. He got the title fight too quick. Obviously, barely been in the UFC, barely been an MMA fighter, but he got the fight. Gets destroyed. He lasts all 5 rounds, but he gets destroyed. So he goes on a obliteration streak like he had never seen before, especially in the heavyweight division, starching everybody, legends, newcomers, whoever was in Ngannou's way, starching them. Stipe, he just beat DC for the trilogy, ended that. The Brock Lesnar stuff didn't fall out, so Ngannou was the only choice. So the story was there. The rematch, what's gonna happen is Stipe too skilled for the power of Ngannou. Is he too much of a veteran, right? Because you got like, Stipe got incredible wrestling as far as like heavyweights. His just fight IQ is just at a different level than Ngannou's. Obviously, he's new. So that's the story. And then you got Ngannou, like, we haven't seen that much. He's been starching dudes ever since. But as far as like his skill wise, we didn't know where it was at. Obviously, you heard rumors like, oh, he's gotten a lot better. But we never got to see it because all his fights ended in the first round. Because he's straight up starching dudes with pure power. So that's your story. Hype super high because you got, is Ngannou gonna get it this time? He's coming off of all of these vicious knockout KOs. And you got Stipe coming off the defeat, the victory of DC in the trilogy. So the hype is there. The stakes is on the line because the title stakes is super high. And then Ngannou shocks the world with a sprawl. Stipe tried to take him down. Ngannou sprawled. The world lost their mind. Everybody just like, what the fuck are we watching right now? This dude stopped. He stuffed a takedown from Stipe beautifully. Did everything right. Did really good on the ground to where Stipe decided I need to take this dude down. Couldn't do it. Gets back up. Well, actually, he was getting messed up on the ground too. Then he got back up, and then he got cracked. Got rocked to the cage. Tries to come back. Comes back a little bit, like hits Ngannou. He thinks he has Ngannou shooken up. Goes in for the kill. Bam, bam. Gets 1-2. Gets folded up like a lawn chair. Just starts Stipe. Gets the title. Yo, if my reactions on here, dude, this was incredible. And now we still haven't had Ngannou fight yet for the belt, which he is going to in January, February. I forgot which one it is, but they already got it set up versus Cyril Gane. But as far as this fight, man, this was an incredible fight that I'm gonna think about forever. We even have Dana White. So Derek Lewis just won his. He just broke the record of most UFC heavyweight knockouts, or just most knockouts, period. But he just broke the record, and Dana White tweeted about him breaking the record, but he put Stipe getting knocked out by Ngannou, which had nothing to do with Stipe. There was no mention of Stipe, but he put him in there. Yeah, I just want to throw that in there. But that fight was incredible, and that's my list. So I definitely want to know, what are your top 20 favorite fights in the last 5 years? So just think about the last 5 years. 10 normal fights, and then 10 championship fights. You can just put your list. You could put Y if you want to. You could put Y for whichever ones you want to. I would love to know. See if we have anything similar. I'm pretty sure well, I don't know. There's a lot of fights, so there might be some of y'all with a completely different list, so I would love to see it. That's all I'm going to talk about for UFC for now. And the next on the list would be anime. I don't think I'm gonna. There's some anime talk I can do. Not much for this week though. Demon Slayer came out. I haven't watched that yet. But let me see what else is new that's popping as far as anime. I know there's some stuff on Netflix. I just can't think of it right now. No, I'm not seeing anything. Oh yeah, JoJo's. That's been pretty good so far. I'm taking my time with it because not all the episodes have been released, just a couple. So I just watch it whenever, but it's really good so far. You got Jolene. You know, JoJo's for life for me. I'm trying to see if there's anything else that's new. Oh yeah, Bleach. We finally got the announcement that Bleach is coming back fall 2022. They dropped a trailer. Oh my god, the trailer looks crispy as hell. If the entire last arc looks this good, I'm glad they held it off for so long. Like, it deserves to look as good as they showed it. So, can't wait for that. If y'all haven't watched Bleach before, definitely check it out. Now's the time to get caught up before they release the final season or arc. The arc can last a couple seasons, so who knows how they can do that. Cyberpunk 2077. Pretty sure that's gonna be dope. I'll talk about more anime next week, hopefully. But we're gonna move on to gaming. Let's see if there's anything gaming I can talk about. One thing I will mention is, so I do have a actual dedicated gaming channel. I haven't posted on there yet officially because I'm still working on the video, doing something. It's pretty different. You probably haven't seen nothing like it before. As far as like everything I'm doing in one, it's probably nobody has done it on YouTube, and it does take a lot of time, so it makes sense where probably no one would want to do this. But I'm gonna do something different with my walkthroughs. You guys will see once it comes out. I'll definitely share the links and everything for that channel. But as far as just games itself, I haven't been playing too much besides Fortnite. I just play that casually just to level up, get my skins, and move on. But and the first game I'm playing as far as like with my other channel will be Cyberpunk, but I'll be playing other games as well. So I play Cyberpunk to get the recordings in. I'm like between both Xbox and a PlayStation, over 200 hours in them, but more so on the PlayStation than the Xbox. But they're both over 100 hours. Let me look on YouTube real quick so I can see what other gaming news is out. Halo came out. I haven't played that yet. I haven't really touched anything on Xbox besides Cyberpunk. But I will get Game Pass eventually. The GTA, Dr. Dre, update. I think that's out. IGN just posted a bunch of videos on it. Fortnite, they got the new Matrix emote where you can dodge the bullets. That's incredible emote, man. That is top tier emote right there. And then you got the other one with the Trinity. Both of those are amazing. I can't wait to see Neo, and they're probably gonna have Neo and Trinity where you can get their skins. Probably it might be Wednesday when it come out, if not Tuesday, which will be tomorrow. So we'll see. Can't wait to see that. What else we have? Nothing too much, unless you wanna just talk about like maybe up and coming stuff or something like that. There's some new battle royale game that came out, or at least beta. I seen Fall from Grace playing it. I gotta finish checking that video out because it looked pretty cool. It's about like, I guess you got like superpowers and stuff, but at the same time it's still like a first person shooter with guns and stuff, just like Call of Duty, kind of mixed with PUBG. Pretty interesting. I'm gonna check it out. Dragon Ball Breakers, I seen C Reacts and some other of the homies play it. Now, watching their video definitely opened my eyes to how entertaining that game could be. Because the initial trailer was completely like, bro, get that out of here. That's like, the Grinch. Like, I'll pass, bro. But watching them play it, it has a lot more depth in it than I originally thought, which is definitely a plus. And the more stuff they can add to it to make it more fun and engaging and last longer, the better. So hopefully that's something that they can stick with. As far as like game of the year, I can't say I haven't really touched that many games this year. For me, it would have to be Cyberpunk. Again, I haven't touched that many games. Obviously, Cyberpunk came out last year after the Game Awards, so it couldn't be counted for Game of the Year. I know there's some cold games this year. I think Hades came out this year. Deathloop, Ratchet and Clank, Kenya. Obviously, those I can't play. No PS5. So, yeah. Next week and the following weeks, I'll have more topics specifically for these subjects. For these topics, I have more talking points, I should say, for these topics like anime, gaming. Right now, I'm just kind of going off the cuff. So yeah, we're gonna move on to the next one. Sneakers will be next, but I'm gonna just skip that one this week. Movies, I'm gonna touch on it and then move on. Because that's something I'm gonna talk about next week too. But if you haven't seen Spider-Man No Way Home yet, that's something I'm gonna talk about next week. So go see it. Matrix coming out Wednesday. Something I'm gonna talk about next week. So we all gotta wait to see that. It's not out yet. So moving on to TV shows. Oh man, TV has been on fire all year. This one I could talk. Each show I can have an own podcast about. That's how good the shows are, and that's how many shows I'm watching. On the list of ones I'm gonna talk about, I don't know how long. Got Hawkeye, Power Book 2, Dexter, New Blood, BMF, Chucky, Book of Boba, which that's not out yet, but I'll talk about that. I can't wait for that. That's the last thing we get this year, at least the first episode. We got next week we get the Book of Boba. What day is that actually? I think it's on the 29th. So next Wednesday we get Book of Boba. To cap the year off, we got the last episode of Hawkeye coming out this Wednesday. Oh man, that episode is gonna be insane. We got spoilers if you haven't seen it. Kingpin. I'll say it again, just in case. Spoilers. Kingpin. The Hawkeye series has been really fun, and I've been enjoying like every second of it. But because they announced or revealed Kingpin, and it's the Kingpin from the Daredevil series on Netflix. So Vincent D'Onofrio, oh my god, I was super hyped. Like, and that's another thing. Like, I think I'm gonna start trying to do some reactions. I'm gonna make a different channel reaction. Because there's a lot of these shows. Oh my god, man, I'll be going crazy with some of these reactions. So we'll try to do that. But Hawkeye has been really fun. We're about to end it off here. This might be the last episode period of Hawkeye because it is a mini series. We'll see. Hopefully we get a season 2. I hope so, man. But if not, it looks like we're gonna have to continue that in Echo. So yeah, well, I guess we'll find out next week. I'm praying for a season 2. But yeah, they've done so, like, the Marvel series, man, the TV shows and the movies. Marvel has the best franchise in the world, period. Like, what they've been doing, including Sony, what they've been doing with the stories and everything, and just expanding the universe into the multiverse is just, you have to be stealing what they're doing. If you're not stealing their format, they have it laid out and it's working. Just do that. Like DC, all you other people that are trying to do something similar but making your own, like, just steal what they're doing. They got the format, steal the format, and just follow it. You already have the roadmap laid out for you. You don't need to gas around and make mistakes. You already got it laid out. You could just focus on the story. But people ain't doing it. That's their fault. But Marvel is killing it. Even Disney can do it with Star Wars. They're trying to. Now they're starting to like see that, oh, okay, this is how you do it. So they got a lot of stuff planned out. Now we just need to see it executed. They're already doing not that great of a job as far as like promotion. They barely show stuff in the most important times where you think some Star Wars stuff would be shown. But hey, who knows what's going on over there. But Marvel, they're killing it. And it's only going to get crazier from here. Only going to get crazier because the multiverse. Yeah, Spider-Man, that just happened. You got Hawkeye with Daredevil characters. But, you know, who knows what's going to happen or who's going to pop up in this last episode. We can potentially get Punisher up in there. We can get Daredevil. Not necessarily in this last episode, but in the future of Marvel. So Hawkeye is just super hype. Oh shit, I forgot there was I didn't put that on the list, but it also deserves to be on the list because I'm watching it too. Mayor of Kingstown. Mayor of Kingstown has Jeremy Renner, who plays Hawkeye, if you didn't know. Phenomenal show, man. This show is super gritty. Like, if you this is like a perfect role for Jeremy Renner. If you like seeing him in stuff with like kind of gangster type of vibes with like kind of military type of story, it kind of has that type of grit. That's where I was getting at. Not necessarily military, not necessarily gangster, but this is obviously revolving around like cops and gangsters, but it's like super gritty and like just like down to earth, just raw. So definitely recommend checking it out if you want to see crazy performance from Jeremy Renner. You know, it's a really good compliment from Hawkeye. But we also have Power Book 2. Just watched the most recent episode last night. I think it was episode 6. Like, the ending for the episode just... Man, these turns and twists they're doing, man, is crazy. I'm gonna say spoiler. I have to pull it up. Just so I don't know what episode it is. So Power Book 2, Season 2. Why does it not show me the episodes? But yo, I can't believe spoilers. If you're not watching Power Book 2 right now, if you want to watch it or you're not caught up, spoilers. For all of these shows, there'll be spoilers, just in case you haven't seen it. Because some of these have already been over, some are going on right now, and I'm spoiling it. So, goes. I think that the last shot was the most grimy. I gotta get up close. Grimy, disrespectful, savagery that I've seen a father do. Which, in hindsight, looking back at it, you like, well, it's kind of cool that he did that because now he's dead. But he didn't do that. I mean, he didn't write that note while he was dead. He wrote that while he was alive. So which case, Tariq didn't kill him. And he still said that. He said, if he did, I'm about to say what he put in a letter. So apparently, Ghost, he made a special letter for Tariq just in case he ended up in prison for a murder charge. He said, this is not verbatim, but he said, "You're exactly where you belong, little nigga." His own dad told him, "You belong in prison, little nigga," just like I thought. Fucking hilarious. From beyond the grave on some stink meaner shit. He will never be able to do anything about that. So he just sitting in prison, pure salt. The only way he can make that not as effective is getting out, which obviously he's gonna do because the show is about him. So he's not gonna stay in prison for too long. Plus, they don't have much proof. The letter honestly was premature, but obviously he don't know what's gonna happen. He's in prison, so I mean he's dead. So, but it was still effective for the time being because Tariq had to read it and just sit there with pure salt. And what led up to that was crazy. Like his homeboy, oh my god, Kanan, man. I mean, Kane. He done roped dude up, man. Brayden, he done roped him up so easily, bro. Like, dude want to fit in so bad. Like, how you going against your homeboy just for a dude you don't even know who's pretending like he trying to make you somebody that you ain't? Stupid. Now, he is the reason why Tariq got locked up. So fucking dumb, man. We gonna see what's gonna happen with him. It's his fault, honestly. If he would have just told Tariq, been straight up with him off rip, he would have been in a better position. And as far as like him and Tariq, as far as like partners or your sidekick, he would have been in a better position there. And Tariq wouldn't be where he's at. Like, dude, like, why are you not checking your place? My man's put a whole body on Tariq, and Brayden had no idea about it. It's crazy. There's a bunch of different like storylines going on. I'm gonna touch on Monet. Dog, she is in a freaking predicament right now. Oh my god, I would not want to be her right now. She has Lorenzo. He just showed back up out of nowhere. The last thing we heard from him, he's like, "Oh, I'll tell you whatever you want to know." On the phone. Wait, what was it? Who was on the phone with? Hopper or whatever. And we don't know what that means until we see the end of the episode. Obviously, we know it's snitching, but we don't know what he gets out of it. Apparently, he gets set free. Yeah, at the same time, we got Mecca trying to get back in Monet's life and I guess make it better. his sister, which he snitched at the worst time because it didn't matter anyway. So now he's not gonna. She's probably gonna tell them like, "Oh, I know about this and about," to all three of them, and then probably all point back to Tariq. Then he's gonna be left out, and that sucks because he didn't need to say it because he was going to jail anyways. So his sister is probably gonna go right back to where she was at, and he lost. Like he didn't need to show up to that case at all because it didn't matter. Now he got a whole prison case on, unless they reverse it once they find out, oh, Tariq didn't do this, which we know he did, but they don't know that. They're gonna think that he didn't. Somehow it's gonna get twisted on somebody else, but it's a lot of twisting toward this scenario. There's a lot going on with this show, especially this season. So we're gonna see how things are gonna play out. I feel like the episodes they get out a lot, but I don't know how many episodes we got left. Maybe probably 2. They might do 8. I don't know. Hopefully we get 10 or something, but I doubt that. Let me see how many we got last season. We got 10, so we're gonna get 10 episodes. So we still got some time to figure stuff out. So there's a lot of time for stuff to play out, so that's good. But I'm gonna move on to Dexter New Blood. I gotta finish the latest episode. I fell asleep on it last night, but so spoilers obviously for Dexter New Blood. Dexter is back. First of all, oh my god, this show is, and they are killing it. No pun intended. They're killing it with the direction they're going in the show. We got a new serial killer. I don't remember what was the last thing I seen before I fell asleep. I need to pull up some stuff. That's not really much help. So I'm gonna kind of be off on the names and everything, so I'm not gonna go too much into detail. I'll kind of be. I won't put names on it, but basically we got the serial killer. He had to give up his whole spot got blew up. Dexter just fucked his shit up. At the same time, he fucked himself up with the lying about his son and everything. I don't know why he fucked up big time just by doing that, because Dexter's girl got hella suspicious, like, yo, he's trying to throw us off because we was getting close. So they found the bodies. Dexter like, oh yeah, this is close. So actually I remember there was Dexter and Killer, I forgot his name right now, but I'm watching a lot of shows, so forgive me if I forget some names. I watch a bunch of stuff. I even throw in random stuff just to throw on them, so a lot of stuff going through my head. But you got the killer. He's at the diner with Dexter. Dexter's son is working. Then he gets arrested. I think that's the last thing I remember. He's like, oh, it'll be alright. He's just trying to play it nonchalant, like, oh, we'll figure everything out. It's no big deal. And obviously he's gonna get out. Dexter's gonna have to kill him by the end of it. But the whole thing is like Dexter's son, like, you know, where is he gonna go with this? Because he's getting further and further apart from his dad, and he's getting closer to this serial killer. Dexter is a serial killer too, and they're trying to, you know, Dexter's trying to figure out, like, should I tell him? Like, you know, Dexter is in a pickle of all pickles. So very interesting. I'm about to watch that. That's probably gonna be the first thing I do once I'm done with this. Um, Actually, I am. There's other shows I'm gonna talk about more in a different episode, probably next week. But yeah, I'll talk about more about Dexter as well once I finish this episode. Just have more. I have clear thoughts, and I'll type it out so I have a fresher memory. But definitely very glad that Dexter is back, and it is really good. BMF, I'll talk about that later. That ended though the season. Chucky, great first season, loved it. We'll talk about that later. And then Book of Boba, Mayor of Kingstown. Again, I'll talk about that later. I mentioned Kingstown briefly. Next will be figures and statues. Not gonna talk about that tonight. I'll talk about that next week. And that will be it. So everything else will be cut short. It's not really short because it's been pretty long. This has been almost 2-hour podcast, pretty much. So I hope you guys enjoyed the conversation. Probably some video games playing on the side there. It's been very good to talk about this stuff because I just been sitting on a lot of this for a while now, but I need to get it off of my chest, especially all the TV shows and stuff, because I get my fix by just watching other people talk about it, but I want to talk about it too. So that's what I'm gonna do. All right. Yeah, this is the Prodigy Jin mode podcast. Again, I talk about a variety of different topics, and it will be this way. And I hope you enjoyed. Next week, there will be more topics covered, and the podcast will probably be pretty long. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Go ahead and give me a like if you did. Go ahead and subscribe. And leave a comment on anything, everything. There's a lot I'll talk about here. And there's a lot I'm going to be talking about in the future. So if you got any questions or anything, always just feel free to hit me up. You'll probably see the socials up or down below as well. And I am out of here. Peace.